Oh man, first time hosting. Welcome to the Flat Tire Pod, and I'm here with Christopher Bell fanatic, Chris Torrance, and a man that's evolved past NASCAR, Cason Ringenberg.
Yes. Good job, Joe. That
Oh
was that
man,
was a 10 out of 10. You didn't introduce yourself, so I mean,
nah,
I'm not
fuck me.
I'm docking half a point for excuse me, not Joe Sinclair. Um,
They know who I am.
Oh, Mr. Pensoil?
well, starting out today, we have our call-in segment. We have two callers. We have a familiar face from last week, Katie, and we have a new caller in today, Chevy. We're gonna start off with Chevy here, so I'm gonna get him to unmute his mic, and Kason's gonna ask the questions this week.
All right, Chevy. How's it going out there?
All right. How y'all doing tonight?
Pretty good. Well,
Solid.
as good as can be expected after a Phoenix race that Christopher Bell dominates and wins for his third in a row. Chevy, what'd you think of the race today?
Yeah, no. Other than Christopher Bell, it was pretty exciting.
You like the option tires?
And yes, I did. They need to run them more often.
Yeah, I agree. I liked seeing a little strategy going into it. I mean, you had people like Ty Dillon up there in the top five, but we can get a little bit more later.
Yeah.
Last question, Chevy. Were you getting pretty excited there at the end with Kyle Larson kind of charging? I know you kind of like those Hendrick cars, those Chevys.
Yes, I do. That was kind of exciting. I was hoping he could try to do something, but yeah, well, didn't happen. But it was an exciting race.
All right, Christopher Torrance or Sinclair, anything you guys want to ask Chevy?
I
Is
had
it my
one,
turn to
but
talk?
I
I'm sorry.
forgot. I instantly forgot what it was. It was about Larson. Oh, when he bumped Bell, do you think he should have sent it in earlier instead of like going into the turn instead of coming out? Like at least give himself more of a shot.
Yeah, he should have, but it is what it is.
You think he's like being too conservative this early in the season? I mean, we're only 4 races in. I haven't really seen him at Atlanta. I didn't really see him at Coda. You think he's just hanging
Right.
out right now, waiting to get to like Vegas or something?
Yeah, for a bigger track, maybe. I don't know. Toyotas are dominant, though.
Well, one of them is.
Yeah, one of them is. Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't have any more questions if Kason or Joe doesn't.
Oh, did you guys watch practice at all?
I actually missed practice. I was not able to tune into that.
Oh, I watched it, and I happened to see that we sponsored. I worked for Lippert, and they sponsored the top line for a little bit.
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Heck yeah. Well, Chevy, we're going to let you go and get on to our next caller. Thanks for calling in, man. Hope to see you around back on the Flat Tire Pod here again.
Oh yeah, it's nice to have you having me.
Thank you. Anytime. All right. Got Katie. Sorry, I prematurely unmuted her. Katie, you got
Is
us.
it my turn now?
It is.
Yeah,
Yes.
sorry, that was my fault.
No,
I unmuted
canceled.
you early.
Well, Katie, biggest question I think on all of our minds this week for you. How do you feel about the Bob Dylan movie not getting an Oscar for Best Picture?
I am distraught. I mean, imagine you put yourself in Bob Dylan's mindset. You learn how to play guitar and the harmonica simultaneously. For 7 years, you've trained. And then you lose to someone who uses AI for their accent when he perfected the Bob Dylan accent. I'm upset.
Here we go, Katie.
Didn't know you had to perfect mumbling.
Well, what's
Damn.
the guy's name? Aiden Brody, guy who won the Oscar, something like
Yes.
that.
The
Yeah.
better actor.
Nah, he was only the better actor in Winning Time when he was Pat Riley.
Yeah,
He's
I
pretty
did like
solid
him
there.
in that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Quickly canceled.
Shouldn't have been canceled.
Yeah. I just like that show. Before I ask Katie another question here, one little thing. I like how that show ended with the Celtics winning the championship when it's a Lakers
Yeah.
show.
It's winning time.
All
Here's
right,
Jeannie,
Katie.
here's the team.
Katie, what do you think of the race? You think it's a little better than the past Phoenix races we have, or on par?
I would say it was on par. I didn't get to watch a lot of the race. Chris, we tuned in at what? Like
Stage-
halfway through?
It was probably like 15, 20 to go in stage 2.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be honest, I was kind of checked out today. We had a very busy weekend, so but I thought it was pretty good. I wish the racing would have been, I don't know. It was close racing, so that was kind of interesting to watch, but didn't really like the race.
But you said it
Yeah, I
was
think
good.
Hold on. We have just had a surprise entrance into the podcast. There's a surprise entrance. Joe, introduce this man.
Oh, this man has evolved past food. That is Tyler, aka Baumer.
Defending Cup Series champion too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
also defending NCAA season champion, I think.
That was me.
That's
No,
Chris.
that's Mr. Baumgartner.
Oh, yeah,
Baumgartner.
excuse me. Yes.
I do have the truck and Xfinity title now too, though.
Did you
The
actually get
couple
those?
still sitting at my house.
I haven't received. Well, yeah, I did. Those are the only ones I have received.
Yeah, the couple one's still like halfway finished. I think I have it painted gold, but I was gonna do something else too. Oh yeah, I've had the sticker on the front of it, which has taken over a year. Sorry, the trophy making service has taken a while.
Took you this long to make this sticker?
No, it's a different sticker.
The
Well,
Cup Series title is serious shit, Joe.
This isn't even cup.
well, back to our phone-in interview with Katie Cason.
Yeah, Katie, did you like the option tires at all? Make it a little more interesting for you in the race, or?
I always like when they bring out the option tires because, like you said earlier, it gives a different strategy to some other teams that might not be up front like they usually are. So
Ryan,
kind of interesting to see. Yeah.
The better Dylan.
What did you say?
He said the
The
better
better
Dylan.
Dylan.
All right, Katie, my last question for you. What'd you think of the finish there when we got that caution and that restart with what, 2 laps to go?
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering how many times this is going to happen this year. Because this is like, have all the finishes been like right after a caution?
No.
Coda was
For
like,
Cup?
what, 15 to go? Was it? 18 to go, something like that?
All the ovals have been.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
been 2 plate tracks. Well, drafting tracks. So
Ty Gibbs keeps it up, then maybe.
he's got us right where he wants us. Not here, though.
All right. Any questions from Christopher Sinclair or Tyler?
I do have a question. You are a Brad Keselowski fan. His only top 20
Yeah.
of the year has came out of road course. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm nervous to see how this season goes. I mean, I don't know. I'm still a Brad fan, but I'm waiting for the performance to be there because he's run up front a bit this year, but it's just like the finishes. He gets involved in things.
I just pulled up the stats, Chris. The standings actually as of the end of the race. Mr. Brad is the fourth worst driver this year who have attempted all four races, with only Cody Ware,
Oh,
Cole Custer, and Ty Gibbs behind him in points.
so
Man, SVG's higher than he is.
he
SVG's actually 22nd in points right now, Joe.
Man, he's killing it.
so if I'm keeping track, Brad's cut half off his car, half off his fire suit, and half off his points total.
Yep.
That sounds about
he's
right.
he's 6 points ahead of Ty Gibbs right now with 47 points, and he's 5 points behind Austin Cindric.
Man, how does it feel as the owner of RFK that he's doing worse than Ryan Preece, who has a stage win?
I mean, it's
That
got to
is-
feel terrible.
That's Mr. 24th in points, Ryan Preece.
What he gets for hiring Ryan Preece. Get hired a real exciting driver like Sheldon Creed or Sam Mayer.
I'll say, Sam Mayer's going there next year. Preece is just a stopgap.
Well, it's not going to be Sheldon Creed. How's that?
Oh, Sheldon Cooper?
I mean, that's what I got to watch.
Joe wanted to watch Sheldon. He just didn't know if it was going to be Sheldon Creed or Cooper.
I couldn't tell if it was going to be Sheldon Creed or young Sheldon.
Probably about equally. Actually, they do have the same amount of wins.
Equally
in
as
the 20
talented.
series.
He is talented.
Anyone have any other questions for Katie?
Do not.
All right.
In here.
Well, Katie, thanks for calling in. We appreciate it. Two-time caller, first-time fan. We will, I guess, see you at some point in the future. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
See you next week.
Long time caller, first time listener.
All right. Well, I guess we're on to our first topic of the day, and that is the greatest race of the weekend, the ARCA race.
This is where I check out because I didn't watch any of it.
Joe, didn't you watch the end of it?
This isn't about me.
Did anyone else watch the ARCA race?
I saw bits of it.
Cason?
I didn't watch any of the ARCA race, but I would just like it to be known that my name was on a car at the ARCA race.
Shout out Brayton Laster.
Sounds like a fitting name.
Yeah, it really is. Pizza
I
Man.
don't know that we've ever seen anybody get turned into the pit wall. That was interesting at the end of the race there.
It looked like an FCL move.
I'm not sure how I feel about ARCA doing the one lap green flag.
Yeah, like in theory, I like it. In practice, it kind of sucks because like the whole race was actually pretty solid for ARCA standards. I mean, they weren't crashing a whole lot. It was somewhat solid racing for the lead. I mean, Butterbean pulled away there, but it was only like a 1 to 2 second lead. But yeah, Baumer, I agree with that. White checkered, it kind of ruined his whole day. And who was it? It was Tyler Rife, who slammed right into the wall. Yeah, that was pretty gnarly, but that's what you get for
No,
looking
Rife-
like off-brand Ty Gibbs.
Rife, I thought, is the one that won, wasn't it?
No,
No,
that
Red
was,
crashed. I mean, I didn't watch.
it was Brent Cruz who won.
Brett Cruz. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Who dirty
I don't know. One thing I took off of seeing the ARCA race that made me wonder is I think you had 25, 30 cars, and I think 8 or 9 of them were Toyotas and Chevys, and everything else was Toyota.
Yeah.
There's balance.
Well, the problem is most of those like back marker cars are just Venturini and Joe Gibbs like throwaways pretty much. I mean, that's why you got like there was like 12 cars that ended the race on the lead lap, if that. Anything for that was actually a pretty solid field because it was a combo race with the West Series and the main National Series for ARCA. But yeah, there really isn't a balance. You either have like really good or like going to get lapped in 4 or 5 laps. So I was watching that race and it was funny because I'm pretty sure the first car got lapped within 5 laps. They were that off the pace.
Sounds familiar.
Derby.
Me at my last Allison race when I didn't have brakes or steering.
I did find it funny that the ARCA schedule is Daytona, weeks off, warm them up for Phoenix, weeks off, just in time for Talladega.
Well, that's just the national series, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With like 3 tracks, I'm like, the ARCA should not be at.
That's...
And they proved it time and again.
Basically, just wait for Talladega so they can wreck the cars that they just rebuilt from Daytona.
Chris is going to watch that one.
Oh yeah, I'm watching all these ARCA races. But last thing on this ARCA race, what do you guys think about the finish and Brent Cruz's move on Butterbean to win the race in the second overtime? This little dump into turn 3 and 4, put him in the wall to win the race.
Where is he from?
Not definitely not from where I'm from. That's for sure.
Oh man, there must be
Definitely
something in
not
the
here.
water with how they drive there.
Oh,
They
sure.
drive pretty dirty.
I know we just had Chevy Boy on here. I guess we could have discussed that, but I think a dirty driver would have sent Chevy Boy into the stratosphere after pulling the movie pulled tonight. But
I think a dirty driver got called out from someone else that lives or grew up where that dirty driver drove. So he decided not to make those moves to prove his point for the podcast.
yeah, I'm sure. All right. Well, okay. Anything else to say, Joe? You got a big mouth tonight.
Matt Rife is not related to this Rife that crashed. And if he was, I would have hated him even more.
Are you sure you don't want to do some crowd work tonight, Joe?
Man, I just flew downstairs and my legs are tired. That's all I got.
Go into Derry guy's house? Is that what?
Yep. I put up that flag and I put on that one movie for him, and then I came back home.
Well,
It is kind of funny that, we get to this point. Chris didn't wreck Chevy and stuff. Oh, I didn't want to race him like that. Okay, William Byron, settle down now.
yeah, I really did.
He would have done it.
I should have done it.
Something in the water there.
All right.
I will say it's funny because of the fact that he also races for Joe Gibbs Racing. So Joe Gibbs Racing sent it on the driver at the end of the race, won the race. Xfinity race pops up. Joe Gibbs Racing driver sends it on the guy leading the race, wins the race. Get to the final Cup Series race. What is it? 2 Joe Gibbs drivers, drives it in hard 3 and 4, puts him in the wall, wins the race.
I think there's something in the water in Huntersville, Joe. I think that's what it is.
Could be.
Well,
It's part of the Toyota driver training.
So does anyone else have any last thoughts on the ARCA race? Or I mean, it's ARCA.
Can they not say Butterbean Queen just one time?
No,
Like, can we just call him Brendan Queen?
no, it's got to be Butterbean.
You call Phil Parsons and you tell him.
That's fine. If you want to call him Butterbean, that's fine. But you don't need to add on the last name.
No, there's 2 Butterbeans in the field. You gotta tell them apart. But moving on to this Xfinity race, I thought I wasn't gonna be able to watch this weekend, but I did get to watch it, and it did not. The ending didn't disappoint. I mean, this is Phoenix. How exciting was this pod really going to be to begin with?
It's the greatest track in NASCAR.
Honestly, they should just get rid of all the other tracks and just run 36 races at Phoenix.
Exactly.
Well, 38, including the Clash and All-Star race, because why not?
Yeah.
And we'll put restrictor plates on them.
You forgot about the duels.
2 or 3.
Oh, yeah. The duels at Phoenix, very exciting. No, actually, Joe, I think we should just do one duel at Suzuka and then just come back for the second duel at Phoenix.
Ship them all out to Japan.
But any thoughts on the Xfinity race from the Peanut Gallery?
No, I didn't get to see it. I got to see young Sheldon though.
Actually, Joe, I want to hear your take on all this first.
So young Sheldon, he was calling the plays for his dad for the football game, and they said you should always punt on the 4th down, but young Sheldon said no. and then they scored a touchdown and won the high school football game. Then young Sheldon's brother kept getting bullied because young Sheldon's a little bitch.
I think I saw this episode. Is that the episode where young Sheldon takes off the mask and he's actually been Dan Campbell the whole time?
Yeah, the whole time. He was actually Craig T. Nelson from Coach the whole time.
Oh, Joe, I think we all need to write a letter to the, I guess the Detroit CW station and tell them that we want the Xfinity races broadcast or else.
Oh no, they broadcast it
Oh
at
yeah,
9:30. The race is long over.
they were just thinking, Phoenix is 2 hours back. Just put it on 2 hours after the race ends. Why not?
Yeah, that's the time zone they're in for sure.
Yeah. Well, Cason, you got any thoughts on that Xfinity race there?
Well, I say I only watched parts of it. Watched like the last 40 laps. Pretty entertaining finish. Justin Allgaier did his best to choke and lead like another 140 laps and not win at Phoenix for like the 5th year in a row, or I don't know what it is now, 4 or 5 years in a row. Alex Bauman had a nice move, sending it 4 wide to get through at the end there. Got ran in the wall with some slightly dirty jabroni tactics by Mr. Thank You Jesus himself. Um, the only thing I might have liked better than the race, like I thought it was like for Phoenix, pretty solid race. I don't know. Ending was decent. Um, I think the best part for me though was Bubba Wallace's tweet or comment after about sucker punching.
What?
Did you not see that?
No.
No.
Shoot, here, I'll send it. Well, if anyone wants to, or case if you want to continue what you were saying.
But yeah, no, I thought it was solid race. I gotta say, I I was happy that somebody actually got out of the car though and was like, "Yeah, I sent it." Not, "Oh, I got loose. Oh, I'm so sorry to Alex. I got loose." Like at least he owned it. We'll see if someone sends it on him this year, if he bitches and moans about it, or if he doesn't. Um, so that'll be interesting. But it was refreshing to hear somebody not bitch and moan and say, "Oh, my bad, got loose." I think I would actually become like a borderline Kyle Larson fan if he's like, "Yeah, I ran him into the wall to win the race. I do that all the time." Like I think that'd be kind of entertaining.
Or like do like what Dale did and just be like, I didn't mean to rattle his cage. Or I just meant to rattle his cage. Shit like that. Instead of like, oh yeah, man. I got loose. I didn't mean to. My bad.
Yeah, so props to Flossie Coyote. I mean Eric Amarello for that one. Um, yeah, that's my take on the Xfinity race.
I
Bummer.
just saw that tweet, and that is really funny.
It's hilarious. For let's see. Let's see if I can describe this.
Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Or what person who won the race, or actually watched most of the race, Mr. Baumer himself.
The Austin Hill thing was hilarious.
Mm.
The Xfinity once again put on a better show than the Cup cars did. The most we can talk about the Cup cars is the new compound and stuff and what that added to the field. But car to car, Xfinity put on a better race. Pit road continues to be a struggle for most people. Cup drivers down at Phoenix, being so long and wrapping around. Other than that, I mean, Sam Mayer has done, I was expecting less, honestly, because Ford really has struggled to develop their own drivers and stuff as it is. So to hear he's like maturing and everything sounds weird, especially when his teammate Sheldon Greed, and he doesn't have a teammate. But other than that, no, it was a pretty good race. I would like if we'd stop coming down to overtime finishes and stuff all the time but that's NASCAR for you.
Yeah. The end of the race, I mean, the overtime finish was it at least redeemed itself with like the exciting finish, but for the most part, Allgaier should have probably won that race. Just like how Brendan Queen should have won ARCA. Something to note
So you're
here.
saying it's
What?
So you're saying it's good that the cup driver who dominated the race won the cup race?
Well, no, what the point I was about to make here, no, I really wish he wouldn't have won. But you notice how everybody who tried to make a move on the outside lost the race, or went up top in the final corner, lost the race, and Christopher Bell was the only one who wised up and took the inside, let Hamlin have the outside.
And then immediately went to the outside lane where his teammate was.
Yeah, it was I gotta hand it to Bell. He actually watched all the races this weekend and learned from everyone else's mistakes. But other than that, I'm not handing shit to Bell. But well, no one else has anything on the Xfinity race, and Joe doesn't have anything to say about young Sheldon, then we'll
I do
I
have one
can-
more question for Joe.
I can talk about young Sheldon all day.
Joe, what happened to the next episode of Young Sheldon?
Uh, his dad he had a heart attack,
Ah,
and he lived this
Huh?
time because I don't want to spoil the ending of the series. You'll have to stay tuned and watch. Thanks, Chuck Lorre, for another brilliant show.
find out next Saturday on the CW.
Instead of a NASCAR race.
From here on out, though, I just want Joe to, anytime he's referring to Sheldon Creed, refer to him as young Sheldon.
I can do
Bazinga.
this. Bazinga. He bazingaed into the wall by Austin Hill.
And he's back to second place.
All right, well, on to the Cup race. Oh, actually, wait, hold on. We have one more thing to talk about for the Cup race. Our great co-host here, Mr. Mustache Man himself, has a stat of the week. Cason.
actually, I actually don't have a stat this week. The stat of
Wow.
the week.
That's the stat. He's out of stats.
No, see, my stat of the week this week because I just want to talk to Joe about young Sheldon.
Oh, sweet. So, anyways, young Sheldon. Baumer knows out of everyone here that I can go on a tangent about any TV show like Family Matters.
The stat of the week will be back next week unless young Sheldon is playing on Saturday at like 4 in the Detroit area.
It's probably going to be.
I have a stat of the week then. It took all of 1 week for Cason to not get a stat of the week. Congrats,
Oh,
Cason, on your streak.
Cason.
Dropped his own segment.
Jason, I got your stat. This is the first time since 2018 someone's won 3 races out of the first 4. There you go. We stole that from Fox.
Well, the only thing you think while you could steal from Fox.
I also liked how Fox like 3 times said a stat that was just completely wrong. And like, oh, closest finish in Phoenix history. Then like not even 5 minutes later, like, oh, it's actually the second closest. I'd also like to give a quick shout out during this segment that we, didn't use, to Mr. Ty Gibbs here in this picture for what is described from Clint Boyer as not his fault for causing this wreck.
We're not even there yet. That's on lap 99.
See, and I thought Cason was just going to take the layup on the stat of the week about the girl driving for the first time in the Cup Series since Danica Patrick.
I had that covered last week. Last week.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, Baumer.
I didn't tune in last week, so I get called out so many times on this thing. I had to stop listening.
Defend yourself, fight.
Can I got 2 questions for 2 of you, actually.
Okay.
One, I can't get over Cason's little caterpillar on his lip. Please tell me Tim had something to do with that.
He did not.
It was all Chris's idea.
The other part was, did Chris decide he didn't have enough hair and he keeps holding like that fuzzball in front of his face for like dude's got one of Sasquatch's nuts and he keeps like putting it up to his mouth. So I'm just, is that like a vape pen or something? What am I looking at here?
This is my microphone. I got it at Goodwill. It sounds better. It sounds better than my broken Turtle Beach headset.
It's all adding up.
You just got to go to Goodwill sometimes. Get some good stuff. It's like you have Sasquatch's nutsack when you're talking on the podcast. I think it makes me look very fancy. I'll have you know. Where's your
I need it like
fluffy
hanging
mic?
there in front of you.
Like a boom mic? Hold on.
Yeah, like a boom mic. So when you get passionate about Cason, you be like, and this is how we get it.
Baumer, I did have a question for you.
Yes,
Out
sir.
of all the backgrounds you decided to use, you used NASCAR Ignition.
NASCAR Ignition.
The best game for the best race.
Well, as much as the game was horrible and stuff, visually, it did a pretty good job.
And that's
So,
half the gameplay right there.
right there. I was like looking at it and I'm like sitting there trying to think of what track that actually was.
It's
Since
Texas.
they're turning right.
It's
Texas.
they're turning left.
Maybe it's just because it's flipped on my thing.
Yeah, it's
it's gotta be Texas for the wall.
It's Texas because that big, huge building in the background.
Then yes, representing this week's race or next week's race.
Are we at Vegas?
2 3 weeks. I don't
They're in
remember
Vegas.
what Texas is.
And
He's
Bobby,
representing
over here.
Texas, no matter what.
I got caught off guard. I got harassed and peer pressured in the middle of my dinner to jump over here. I wasn't taking notes like Joe.
I'm never taking notes again.
I do have a
After-
question. I was in case. Go ahead.
I'd say Bombers like me after Atlanta. I'm like, oh yeah, with Las Vegas next week, and then I was kindly told that Las Vegas has been moved to like 3 weeks from now.
Right. No West
Good
Coast
deal.
swings anymore.
After all of our talking here about backgrounds and what track
Sheldon.
this is and what race is next week, this really got me thinking. What's your favorite young Sheldon character?
Oh, hang on. What's that old guy's name? He's from Princess Bride. You fell for one of the classic blunders. That guy. He's my favorite.
Never get into a land war in Asia.
All right. Well, to start off our analysis on the Cup race, Joe took very extensive notes here that he's going to have to do for the rest of the season, or else.
Or else what? I'm suspended
Exactly.
from the podcast. Well, Baumer,
You're
take
forced-
over.
No, Joe, you'd be forced to watch 2.5 Men instead of young Sheldon.
Then he's just going to come on here talking about Tiger Blood and winning all the time.
Winning.
Joe, it could be worse. At least you're not watching Friends during the.
Oh, I hate Friends. I'd
Yes.
rather watch Young Sheldon over Friends. Friends is the worst show ever made.
It's so bad. Oh,
Okay. So I get to start this.
yeah, go ahead.
All right. Since I took all the notes. Stage 1, lap 4. We start off with a banger. Captain Leg spinning out because she got too tight or loose. I don't know which.
He doesn't know either.
Then it was smooth sailing until lap 10. When I think it was Gregson. I kind of wrote sparingly on stage 1 because it was a very short stage. Gregson spun out Stenhouse and Custer, and that was it for them. Like no one else got involved. And lap 18, this is my favorite part of the race. Joey Logano, speaking of falling for the classic blunders, goes below the yellow line before the start-finish line and has to serve a penalty. Race was made.
I still don't quite get this call. I mean, he didn't really get an advantage from it, and it was like,
Chris, you watch Talladega and Daytona all the time. Don't go below the yellow line.
it's just like why? Like if you're gonna pay.
There's
What?
one rule about restarting at Phoenix before all hell breaks out and they're 6 wide is don't cross the line.
Yeah.
Why?
Before
Then
you
just
get
put
to start
grass
finish.
there. Just put grass there. Bring
No.
it back to how it was.
Chris, you don't understand.
And so
All right.
that right there is my biggest complaint because it ties me back into the Austin-centric penalty and how he should have been kicked for one race Because when Kyle Busch right hooked people, you suspended him. When he did it twice, you suspended him for 2 races. Chase does it, you suspend him. Bubba does it, you suspend him. Austin Cindric does it. Oh, we're giving him a penalty. Just a little here's some points gone. Here we are with this rule. This was a black and white, don't cross the line. He did it, and then Kevin and Clint did the same thing Chris did. Well, he wasn't blocking nobody or gaining an advantage or
it was like, I don't know, if he would have put like more than a tire down there, I'd be like, yeah, okay. But I feel like NASCAR will let other stuff slide. I think this is just their payback for him winning the championship when he wasn't even supposed to be in the round of 8. I said,
that's
get your lap
he should've
down.
been. This is them trying to make up for the fact that they decided middle of the race that turn 6 at Coda is no longer in violation of track limits.
Oops. I'm sorry, I hit the wrong button.
Oh, well, congrats to.
I don't like what you guys are saying. These are clear rules, and that you have to follow them. All right. This
No,
man
I'm
is
like,
never
no,
wrong.
that's a black and white rule. Like,
Yep.
Just like
He
right
did
hooking
do it.
people, Baumer.
here, let me ask this question. If it wasn't Joey, and that is the end of the race right there, and someone like Ty Dillon is leading the field, would you have more of an issue with it?
No.
Exactly.
Chris is being biased. The rules are written, and that's what they are.
It's
right.
Until
I don't know.
NASCAR anticipates there's something different.
I don't know. I just feel like that was a little, yeah, it could have went either way. Here's my question: if it's Kyle Larson or I guess new Golden Boy Christopher Bell, do they call that?
Yes, 100%. Rules are written.
Not at the end of the race. In stage 1, yes.
Yeah, I agree with Baumer. I think if that's the end of the race, they probably don't because it's NASCAR.
As long as it's
But
someone they
have to
want to
listen to
win.
that.
Getting dogpiled here. Well, moving on since I'm losing this.
All right, now, I did put NASCAR as consistently inconsistent, so you got that going for you.
Consistent.
Can
I say?
Oh, go ahead.
Can I say just stage 1? After all this is going on, and we've literally run 20 laps of caution and 10 laps of a race. All I could think to myself is this is Fox's wet dream right here. They only have to put the race on for 2 laps, and then they're back to commercial because we're back under caution again. They didn't have to side by side or nothing. They got their advertisements out there, and they loved
So
it.
you are listening to the pod.
That is nonsense, Baumer. We here at Fox Sports do not like commercials, and we want the fans to see all the racing. And we think Clint Boyer is a great broadcaster. And Mike Joy is not past his prime. Give us another 10 years, Mike, please.
As long as we keep Clint out of the Ozarks.
Fox doesn't have Chris Collinsworth calling NASCAR races at this point.
No, that's Joe Buck's next venture.
We just need the inside the NBA crew just to call the NASCAR races.
All right, so we got Jamie McMurray. He can do double duty. We'll get who else likes to call races? We'll make Joey Logano do both. He can race and call the race.
He's gonna be the in-race reporter.
Yeah, like Wally Dallenbach used to do for NBC.
Honestly, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say what I'm thinking here. We bring in Joe Buck.
Oh my god, I'm out.
Then we're like, oh, you know what'd be really nice? 2 play-by-play announcers. Mr. Alan Bestwick, you're in.
And
Joe will only be watching young Sheldon from here on.
Young Sheldon got a new follower.
We need 2 people to do a race analysis. Clint Boyer, you can stay. And we're going to also call in young Sheldon as the other analyst.
Man, we're really getting the worst of the worst.
He did the rules analyst for the Nickelodeon NFL game.
Do you want Brent Musburger to come back and do the race reporting too?
I
No,
want
he's gonna
Danica
do the-
Patrick to be the head of the whole lead of the officiating.
Danica Patrick's too busy talking about the lizard people running the government.
I know,
She's
and
too
how
busy.
amazing would that have been when
Joe.
Joey crossed the line and got penalized?
I have an even better booth, Cason. So we get Joe Buck, another lead announcer and Alan Bestwick. Keep Clint Boyer in there, he's real goated. And then to round it all off, get the third lead announcer and Jamie Little. And then young
Joe's
Sheldon's a
crying.
pit reporter.
You think young Sheldon would be a NASCAR driver like Frankie Muniz?
No, Chris, we can get Brent Musburger in there, but he's gonna be cutting to the crowd. But instead of kids, we're just gonna get hot women he finds, and he's gonna talk about them.
He's also going to advertise his casino that he runs or whatever. his sports book. Anyways, Ryan Priest.
What are we talking about again?
Ryan
Joe's
Man
working
Ryan.
this stage to stage breakdown here.
We got Ryan Priest drives into the top 10 on option tires in 10 laps from 30th to 10th in 10 laps. Shows how good the options were. And he didn't quite, I think he got to 5th. And William Byron wins stage 1, and Ty Gibbs struggles continues because I think he was about to go a lap down before the stage ended.
Joe, actually, Rocket Man Ryan Priest got third in the stage.
Oh, so I said top 5.
Yeah.
I'm not taking notes like this ever again.
Are you singing Rocket Man again, Cason? I mean, I
Rocket
sung
Man Ryan Priest.
I need you to sing Rocket Man like I did the whole time. Let's hear it.
Well, Christopher, I think we can wait for later in the race.
All right, Cason, go ahead.
All right.
Actually, it's Joe's the first time.
Excuse me. Sinclair,
Yeah, it's my time down here. Stage 2, 10 teams take the options. And honestly, I think it was Cindric that made it up the furthest. I think he was like 15th to start that stage anyways. So, and everyone else that took options kind of fought against each other and held each other up. Like SVG was there. I think Eric Jones was there. They're all just holding each other up, not getting anywhere, like running 25th to 30th that entire time. Lap 92, McDowell blows a tire, option tire runner, and quick caution. Like real fast. Nothing on that? All right.
I didn't see that.
Oh, you didn't see that? Yeah, they threw that yellow as soon as they saw the smoke. They threw that yellow. It was like when Kyle Busch at Richmond went near the wall but didn't hit it. It was like that quick.
They didn't do that thing where in the Xfinity race where I forgot who it was, like lost a rotor and like a hose on the racetrack. And they were like, no call.
Was that the Warp Tour car?
It might have been what the Warp Tour car hit. Because I just know somebody hit something and it caused them to wreck. No, I think it was that. I could be wrong here. Anyways, go ahead, Joe. Excuse me.
This is where Cason's picture comes into play. As we can see there, we got Exhibit A of Ty Gibbs being where he shouldn't, with a guy behind him being where he shouldn't, and another guy further down, I can't see who that is.
Wait it!
Being where he shouldn't.
Press the wrong button, sorry.
All right, I'll stop.
No, he was actually yelling at Ty Gibbs.
That's what his spotter was saying. Good reenacting there. Chris. Go at it.
If Ty Gibbs is a fat cat named Leroy, then yes.
That was his nickname in high school, so it could have been. Ty Gibbs goes up, squeezes Haley into Briscoe. I mean, there was some room above. Who is that? That's in 70. Is that the? Who is that above him? Above Briscoe.
That's Hocevar, yeah.
I guess there was space above Hocevar, but Hocevar is Hocevar. He's not going to move for shit.
It wasn't Ty's fault.
Oh, I didn't know Clint Boyer was here. So that incident took out 11 cars, including, I even wrote this down, my boy SVG, who I probably jinxed by buying his diecast car.
And
my hot take, Riley Herbst.
Rip to
He
his
had
17th place finish run.
Riley Herbst was running top 15 at one point, and I was like, I'm looking smart. And then he's not.
also, just like Chase Briscoe at the time was, running in a solid but not great spot. Chris's pick, and then crashed.
Oh, we crashed together.
Yeah.
More on my pick later.
Shut the fuck up.
All right, moving forward. McDowell blows another tire, but there was no caution.
Who needs it?
Yeah. And Bell runs down Joey, who's on 70 plus lap option tires, and wins stage 2.
On the option tire subject, I really like this compound. I really hope they bring it to more races because I wish the fall off would have been just a little bit more. But the fact that they could go a long way on the tires without them exploding is also kind of a good thing. Being able to run 70 laps, but still have a good, I'd say an okay amount of fall off, but still what was it? It's not the option tire, it's the damn main tire, whatever it's called.
Prime.
Yeah, Prime. Stupid. Just call them hard and
Watch
soft.
Formula One, jerk.
Call them hard and soft. I mean, I know
No.
we don't want Clint Boyer just being like, oh, he's got the hards on, but
Well, he does.
I felt like the intersect point between when the options lost the good in them and when the primes or the hards lost their good in them was a little bit farther in the run than I would have liked, because the options were really like much faster than the primes, but it just seemed like deep in the run they just kind of leveled off, and then like towards the end of the run is when the options started to fade, but it wasn't as much as I would have liked to see.
So you would want the harder tires to be harder.
I'd go the other way and say I'd want the option tires just be a little bit softer.
One idea I saw, Chris, that I think it was on Reddit about the tires during the race or after the race, was to have the option tire be the new main tire at some of these tracks, and then bring in an even softer compound, like significantly softer, that falls off after like 25 laps. And I didn't think that was a bad idea.
Yeah, I don't mind that. Honestly, I really wouldn't mind just in general seeing honestly up to 3 compounds that could be used, and not just give them like limited sets, like give them like, how many sets do they get this weekend? 10 for the race? Am I off here?
Was it 2 soft and 6 hard and like 2 extras or whatever they call them or something like that? I don't remember what they
You
were.
heard that right, Baumer?
Chris is turning into an F1 fan.
Look, if there's anything I'm going to take away from F1 is that they can use multiple different tires in a race and use it for strategy.
And the fastest lap.
Michael McDowell.
Yeah. So give them like 3 different compounds and give them like 3 of each. Let them choose when to use them. Get rid of the stages, and I think we'd have a whole lot better racing. And passing would be a lot easier. It would at least look like there's more passing. It'd be a little bit artificial, but
Someone's never watched Formula One a day in their life.
Okay,
Chris,
let's
Formula
also
One
get
just
them the
sucks.
energy store system with a push to pass button.
Yeah.
No, that's too far.
Yeah,
That is too far.
let's put that in there too.
So Chris, in 2035,
Okay.
when NASCAR's racing in the streets of Monaco,
Yeah.
and someone spins out early in the race and says, I want to use put my soft tire on and go run the fastest lap of the race.
Fine by me.
And then buries it in a wall.
Actually, I hope NASCAR ends up running Monaco, because that would be the best race that street circuit has seen in its history. It wouldn't even matter if it was, Bomber, don't shake your head. Formula One sucks.
I agree with Baumer. There would be even less passing.
I don't even like the F1 cars at Monaco. The best that thing can do is some like souped up goat karts.
You guys are missing the point in the beauty of them going in that little hairpin and just having a 40-car pilot. That would be beautiful. That would be
We
art.
already saw Chicago.
That would be literally turn.
It'd be worse than Chicago. That's what's great about it.
All right, any hoozle. Stage 3. Practically the whole field goes on options. I mean, a lot of them had two of their sets still, including our hero of the story, Ty Dillon. Uh, I don't remember what stage, like the lap stage 3 started on, but 216, uh our lady of the race gets into the side of Barry, and Suarez T-bones there right in the straightaway on the backstretch.
Using lessons learned from Connor Zilch.
Yes. Just driving right through the smoke, right into T-bone land. And right after that, Priest uses his last set of options to go back into the top 5 from 20th. I think there's only 20 cars on the lead lap at that point.
Wasn't he leading?
I think he probably took the lead after that.
Yeah. So I think he led for a little while till that next yellow. I might be.
I think he did, because then he was on they're called primes, Chris.
What do you mean
See,
hard?
there's primes and options.
See, I like hard and soft.
No, there's primes and options.
I
All
can
right?
relate more to
You
hard
you,
and
you
soft.
want that third tire? What are you gonna call the other two? You're gonna call this one
Medium.
what?
Hard, and you have your medium, and then you have your soft.
Oh, so just like Formula One. Got it.
I'm saying that's the one thing they get right.
They're going to get intermediates and full wets too.
I hope so.
I mean,
I think there should be a super soft option.
I just want a button that, if they're in the correct zone within a second of the car in front of them, that the spoiler drops completely flat before they get to the turn and then comes back up.
See, Briscoe had that at Daytona, and it got him penalized.
Yeah, but he won the appeal on that one.
That's right, he did.
more on that Wednesday.
NASCAR's evolving.
There's no black and white here for NASCAR.
Definitely no
Don't
judgment
say that.
I mean, there is. I'm sorry.
And I'm gone.
Anyways, at 243, Reddick loses power steering. It was happening kind of simultaneously. Reddick losing power steering, like it was starting to go out, and Blaney was saying he was blowing up.
Looks like you lost that motor.
Lap 267. Chris doesn't want to hear this. Bubba blows a right front going into turn 1. I'm surprised NASCAR threw a caution for it.
Way too late.
It took them a while.
Yeah, I think Byron was on pit road.
Yeah.
Like he was on his way to pit road when Bubba blew a tire.
Yeah, and Chase had just pit, and who else was it that just pit?
The fuck?
Fuck you, Cason. I resent that remark.
Anyways, 270. Everyone uses their last set of options except for what it says here. Joey Labumbo.
Labamo.
Labamo. Okay. Then 17 laps later, Blaney finally blows an engine. I mean, it made it quite a bit. Is that 44 laps? It's almost the end of the race. 304. Ty Gibbs. The struggles continue.
Saves the race, as Cason put it.
Yep. And Fox steals, it doesn't say this here, but Fox steals Cason's stat sheet to show all of Ty Gibbs's finishes in the last, 15 races?
Yeah, so on top of Alex Bowman listening to our pod that we established last week, apparently the Fox crew is also listening to the pod to hear the Ty Gibbs struggle thing, and all of a sudden that came out of nowhere and was on there. I thought it was a little fishy.
Mike Joy's in on it.
Yeah, I think Mike Joy and Clint Boyer probably are both watching the pod as Clint Boyer searches for new bits to bring to Las Vegas as he talks about gambling and the slots for 30 times at least.
And Kevin Harvick listens for new slang words to throw out during the middle of the race.
When Kevin Harvick starts calling
Wild.
people weebs, I'll be concerned.
Oh man. Calls Cody Ware a weeb. Oh, that weeb plowed right into the wall.
I really want to hear him say skibbity on the broadcast.
Skip it.
Well, maybe if the Rizzler comes back, Chris.
I'm going back to young Sheldon. uh Now this is where Chris is sad again for another week. Starts as we got a duel to the finish with Denny and Christopher Bell, which was a clean finish. No slimy jabroni tactics.
You know me, I don't mind a good bump and run. All I mind is last week he was like, I'd like to thank Byron for making this a clean race and racing clean. There's still respect among drivers. And then he goes out and just he runs his own teammate up the track. All I'm saying is he's a bit of a hypocrite. And Tim, if you're listening, I know that actually you probably stopped listening around the 15-minute mark for no reason. But if you're listening, Tim, we know that everybody who's lived in Oklahoma for at least 2 years is a bit of a hypocrite, just like Christopher Bell and the Badger. So that's all I got to say on that.
Did you say the ARCA finish was clean?
No, but I mean, like, it's fine with me. I don't care.
But
On somebody over. It's Rubbins Racing. That's what NASCAR is. This ain't damn F1.
Chris, when Christopher Bell runs over Bubba at Kansas for the win.
Oh, then I will move to Oklahoma for 2 years and come back on the pod.
So ARCA was fine, Rubbins Racing. But Sunday, he's over the line.
Fine. I'm saying
he's over the line. He should be penalized. He almost murdered Denny Hamlin.
Hey,
Joe, this is why you're not real. Wake up, Joe. This isn't real. Wake up.
Joe, what about when Chris is like, a couple laps to go and he runs somebody over in one turn and they run him back over?
I have been
that's clean
moved
racing.
out of the way by somebody on this podcast to win a race this year. And then I've been drove down all the way below the apron and didn't retaliate by someone who was on the podcast earlier. And I have not done any dirty jabroni tactics.
Okay, William Byron.
Who ran you over for a win?
You.
What?
I think you lagged into me. I don't think you actually ran me over.
You shoved me into pit road and gave me a speeding penalty.
I didn't do that.
I don't care if Cason pushed
Not
you
on
into
my screen. Not on my screen.
We got William Christopher Byron out here.
Actually, is that his middle name? Because I feel like it is. Hold on.
Anyway, I thought it was a clean finish. What do you think, Baumer? What do you think, Cason? Anyone but Chris.
Fuck you.
Can I mute him?
No, actually, it's William McComas Byron Jr.
What?
MCCOMAS. McComas?
His parents hate him. That's all I see.
Oh, but he's also a junior. Apparently, his dad is also William Byron Sr.
Oh, he extra hates him.
Don't worry, he'll get old enough and he'll just be Bill Byron.
All right, we need Mr. Baumer's take on this finish now.
That's Macomas.
I didn't have any issue with the finish and stuff as far as I'm concerned. That's racing. There was no huge dive. There was no right hooking. There was, I don't have an issue with it. Kind of like Chris is. If you're going to spend 1 week talking about clean racing and stuff, best not to very next week not clean race. That's, kind of what it is. But no, don't. For me, it was, the beginning was a mess with all the wrecks. I mean, Logano's penalty, black and white kind of a situation where it's diddy, was it enough? Who knows?
Did he?
He did.
Yeah, he
Stage 3's restart was kind of iffy. I was surprised they didn't put that under review when Denny kind of looked like he went first.
Larson bumped into him.
And then the only other thing I had on there was another week and another Chase Briscoe wreck.
Another Chase Briscoe wreck. But he got those points back, so it's okay. Now he has points to spend.
Oh, you said points to spend next week at Las Vegas with Clint Boyer.
What about you, Cason?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't really have any problem with the finishes. Again, like you and Mr. Christopher said, when Christopher Bell got out of his car, oh, William, thanks for racing me clean. And then he comes out and does that this week. It is a little hypocritical. We kind of established Oklahoma. Um, yeah, I feel like he is gonna probably end up winning like 5 or 6 races this year. He's already at 3.
I say
That can be very hard. Yeah, I'm not gonna put an exact total on it. We already know my total of 20 wins combined for Bell, Byron, Larson, and Reddick. We'll see if it's just Bell apparently getting most of the way there, but yeah, I don't
How
know.
many of the wins are going to come from your other top 5 driver, Christopher Busher?
None of the wins in this stat. Maybe in a different stat. Maybe we'll pull out some more stats this week. I like to give on the Wednesday podcast. I like to give my bold takes. This is just my reaction. Um, the real question would be whether or not they get to 20 wins combined before Mr. Sheldon gets to 1 in the Xfinity Series. Um,
He is holding
yeah,
up
no.
one.
Unlike Sheldon, Creed is every down in the Xfinity Series.
What's going to be funny
yeah.
is he's going to win his first race off of like a DQ or something.
Or it's going to be a full Daniel Hemrick situation where the only time he wins is when he gets a shot at the championship and wins at Phoenix.
He is pretty good at Phoenix, except for in Austin Hills underneath him. But yeah, not really any problem out of myself from the finishes. When I saw Denny's face like post race, I thought he was about to go on the biggest tirade of like the last 3 years, and was very disappointed in him that he just sounded pretty defeated and didn't say much. That's the end of my analysis, though. Mr. Sinclair.
Oh, I was doing some Googling here, some surface level Googling, and I found out that Oklahoma is actually the 5th best place for drivers, safety wise. So, with this information, I am saying Christopher Bell raced pretty clean.
Wait, what year
That was
was this data
2024.
taken? Oh, I know why. It was probably 50th the year before that.
So it all works out.
Mr. Sinclair, what was did it say the first safest state for drivers?
Hang on, I have to go back.
Well, he's
The
Googling.
safest is Mississippi.
Oh.
Second is North Dakota.
Derby guy.
So we
Derby's
have
the safest, dude.
Mr. Ricky Stenhouse and Derby Guy are considered 2 of the safest drivers that we know.
That's not even fair. There's only like 10,000 people in the whole state of North Dakota.
In the bottom half, actually the bottom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 11th place is North Carolina at the bottom.
That's fitting. A lot of North Carolina drivers are pretty dirty, and they think that their tactics are clean.
Minnesota right there at 12.
Somalian pirates, we.
Don't worry, Baumer, Colorado is in the middle.
I can tell you Texas better be towards the very, very top of that list.
I have news for you. They are not.
That's a fucking lie.
Did Ted Cruz pay for this?
Yeah, he ate my baby first.
Actually, I know a driver in Texas.
Did Cason just pick young Sheldon's nose?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
Anyways,
Bazinga.
what were you guys talking about before you asked me something?
The finish. Do you think it was dirty jabroni tactics?
Oh no, I said it was clean. It was good. Good finish. I don't care that you guys think Bell's being a hypocrite because he's not.
Oh, how? How is he not?
He's not.
Ow! He's sitting there
He's not
crying, like saying, like, "Oh,
because
thank you, Willie. Thank you,
yeah,
Willie B. I
yeah.
love you so much.
He
You're
said
such a clean driver, Willie."
he
And then
said
like,
thank you,
"Oh, my
Willie.
teammate,
Yeah,
nah, man, fuck out of the way."
yeah. He was saying thank you to William Byron. Did you see how he passed Kyle Busch? He was clean with William. What are you talking about? So yeah, he's fine. He clean racing. Because if you think that ARCA race was clean at the end, you got a problem. You probably
I'm not.
thought the finish
I'm
to the
not
Xfinity
saying.
race was
I'm
clean.
not. You're.
I
I'm not saying.
I'm just calling it as I see it,
I'm
Chris.
not
It's
saying
clean. It was a good race,
they
good
were
finish.
clean. I'm just saying I don't mind it. Like I don't mind the cup race, how it ended today. I don't mind the move he made. What I mind is that last week he was saying like, "Oh, thanks everyone for driving clean. There needs to be more respect among drivers." And then he just
I
fucking goes and just throws that down the drain this
I
week.
get it, Chris. You just hated that it was Bell that did it.
I don't give a shit, Joe. If it would have been Bubba who went out there and said, "I'm glad everyone's freaking clean," and
I
then
don't.
moves fucking Tyler Reddick
You
out of the way.
believe this shit? You believe this shit, Elton?
What about if it was Bob Dylan?
I'd have a problem.
Okay, here's the real question. 25 laps at Bristol, equal equipment. Who wins, young Sheldon or Bob Dylan?
Oh man, I hope they both crash.
Hey, Sheldon.
It's all right, Chris. Next week's another week for a Christopher Bell win.
No, it's gonna. If I'm being serious. If Bell wins next week, I will not be on the pod.
No, come on, Joe. Next week is the Kyle Larson week. You know, he wins Las
Nah.
Vegas by leading like 300 of the 305 laps.
Christopher Bell is winning next week, and he's also winning Homestead. Then he's winning Martinsville. They're gonna call him Mr. March, just like Harry Gant when he was Mr. September.
Harry Gant was cool and had personality.
I'll tell you. This is the new NASCAR. Get with it, old man.
I used to be with it, and then it changed.
Now
And
it
it'll
is
happen to
weird
you.
and scary to me.
Well, I have nothing else to say. I want to eat my Michael Waltrip nachos and take another trip to the bathroom. Let me make that face bomber.
Michael Waltrip nachos.
Yeah, he has like 2 restaurants down here. Cason's been there. It's good
I
food.
have Mikey's.
Yeah. Except you eat the nachos with the jalapenos, they will send you straight to the shitter.
They sound
When you
like
flush the
normal
toilet,
nachos.
it says, "Let's go, Mikey."
It does. It says you got it, Mike. That's actually what's going on during the bowel movement.
Chris, I just want to let you know, not every race is going to be a bad race.
The Coda race was good.
Because so far every race title has been Coda Catastrophe, a waste of a Sunday.
Well,
what's the other title?
wait, was Coda really called a waste of a Sunday?
No, you call Atlanta a waste of a Sunday.
Okay, Atlanta was a waste of a Sunday, but Coda was a good race. I don't know.
I want to go. I'm going through these titles. All right. Hang on. I have to go to the bottom. Daytona Disaster.
That was a disaster.
Ailing Atlanta, a waste of a Sunday.
Also a waste of a Sunday.
Catastrophe at the Americas.
I disagree with the name on that one.
You made the name.
Cason and I came up with it together. What's the name for this week, Joe? What do I name this one?
Sensational Christopher Bell.
That's not
Dominance. If I don't see it.
How about Fine Phoenix with a PH?
It's not good enough.
You're not good enough. Wake up.
I'm used to that. Phenomenal Phoenix with a PH.
There we go. I'll do that. I'll do that for you. Cason, what's your background?
Just
This
win,
is just
baby.
win, baby.
Oh,
You know what
Okay,
Christopher
babies.
Bell does.
no. You know what? Hold on. I got a background for you guys.
Oh, good Lord, what's happening in there?
May I see it? No. Here we go. That's all that's been happening. That's all that's been happening. Thanks to NASCAR and
You
their
don't listen to him.
they threw that caution too late, so they knew William Byron would be on pit road. So like, oh, throw the caution so we can get rid of Bell's greatest, rival here. We got to pay him back for him not getting in the final four. So here's 3 wins in a row, Bell. One of which is very questionable and shouldn't have been a win.
Joe, I just want to talk that we've gotten to the point of the season where 4 races in that Chris is like, please, William Byron, save us.
At this point,
I thought you could say we're 4 races in and Chris has already lost his mind.
Well, you guys, you missed when you got in the FCL party chat. Chris said he would have rather Chase Elliott
Oh,
last 3
what?
races than Christopher Bell.
At this point, as long as it's not Byron, Gibbs, or Bell, I'm pretty sure I'd be happy with whoever wins, just so it's not one of those 3.
Ty Gibbs.
Especially Bell. I said Gibbs.
Oh, I thought you just meant Gibbs as a whole.
I'd
No,
rather
Bell
see
can
Cody
win all
Ware
races.
win the next 8
Oh,
races in a
man.
row.
Mr. Weeb himself.
I really would. I am so sick of Christopher Bell.
So he starts trashing the waitresses at the Waffle House after the race. Then he was, okay, not 8, not 8, not 8.
When he got out of the car, it was like something like, "Let's go, fans," or some stupid shit.
Yeah.
Like that.
He was
I
hyping
Was
them
that a
up.
good race?
He's hyping
Yeah.
him up, man.
Gosh, his voice is grating.
It's showing a
He's
personality. I
showing.
get you don't like that in your drivers.
That's not personality. That's just yelling at the fans.
We all can't like mid drivers.
Cason doesn't even like anybody.
Showman.
At least it's not mid.
Hey, hey, Chris, here's my stat of the week, actually. We're looking ahead to Vegas for the stat of the week.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
All right. Well, thanks
We'll
for being
wait. But
about
we got there.
25 minutes late. Thanks.
3 drivers have led over 200 laps in the last 6 races at Las Vegas.
Bell
William
Larson's
Byron,
at it.
Christopher Bell, Kyle.
Ooh, I know this one. I know this one.
What is it, Joe?
No.
Is it Kyle Larson
He's led
And
the
Chris-
most at
and Christopher
405.
Bell?
He's led the second most at 248. And guess who's
Byron.
third?
Blaney.
That's right. William Byron with
Oh,
201.
man.
Only 2 other drivers have led over 100 laps in the last 6 races with Daniel Suarez and Ross Chastain.
Our only heroes of the story.
Shit.
Are those counting the laps that Ryan Blaney was pushing Joey Logano for?
That does. Joy only actually has 49 laps led.
So
looks like
Chris
he's
won't be
about to
here
go
next week.
Luigi on someone.
When we get the 1, 2, 3 of Larson, Bell, and Byron.
If it's Larson finishing first, I will be here.
It won't be.
If it's Byron, I will be here begrudgingly. If it's Bell, I will not be here. Baumer, you're tapped in again.
Chris is just getting out his Hendrick Motorsports flag as we're 4 weeks into the season.
At this point, I just really would rather Chase Elliott. Like I'm saying, just come on, just not Bell, please.
So
It's torture.
The good news is the most top 5s outside of Chastain and Kyle Larson's Alex Bowman, Chris.
I'll take Bowman.
It's
Buddy.
about time for a hack win.
If I go to the 600 and Bell wins again,
Oh, you're gonna be in for an all-time duel of Christopher Bell versus William Byron with Tyler Reddick in 3rd and Kyle Larson in 4th.
I would probably not renew my 600 tickets. I would be done.
are we moving on to our new topic of Top Banana?
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to get to our new topic here.
Get in there,
Who's
banana.
feeding the banana to. So who's the top banana, Joe?
Well, we all pick a top banana of the weekend.
Oh, I wasn't prepared for this segment.
No, you weren't. My top banana. It's so easy to pick Christopher. It's so easy to pick Christopher Bell. So I'm gonna go with Ty Dillon for a good run that he had before he fucked it all up.
Oh, I got Joe topped. You ready for it? I'm giving it to Daniel Suarez because now he is 2 for 2 on taking out the part-time drivers.
Sounds like we gotta do stat.
Yeah.
Chris, you got your top banana?
You can go. You can go.
I'm gonna give it to Mr. Got Walden Xfinity race, Alex Bowman. He started like I don't know, when he started like 34, 33rd, I don't know, because he had just one of a god awful qualifying lap. Finished sixth. Not a bad day. In Alex Bowman fashion, he got 0 stage points and finished in the top 10 because it's Alex Bowman and he's gonna finish in the top 10 like 3/4 of the time, but he's gonna get 0 stage points. And before we had to bring Elliott Sawyer out, it showed Alex Bowman was 4th in Winston Cup points.
Oh, hey, yeah, let me get that back for you.
Yeah, he's having a good season so far, finish wise, not really stage point wise, but those are fraudulent. We don't recognize those. We recognize these points that Joe has behind him that show that Alex Bowman is a top 5 driver this year, and Christopher Buescher is, he's knocking on that top 5 door. He's only 2 points back.
2 points.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hang on.
That's
Yeah,
13.
94 points. He's not. Oh no. Yeah, my bad. I was looking at Kyle Busch.
Shout out to John Hunter Nemechek, though.
Oh, hold on. Cason works for the banks, and he just said
I wasn't gonna bring it up.
he can't count over 2.
Cason's getting doged next week, okay?
You mean the crypto, right?
Well, my top banana goes to Josh Berry, who has actually put a solid run together in the 21 car, and I hope continues this because that is, in all intents and purposes, a 4th Penske car. And, I think he's a pretty solid driver. His road course talents leave much to be desired, but, if he can keep this up, I could see Mr. Berry sneaking into the playoff to getting a win, but I could definitely see him pointing his way in if things go well enough for him over the stretch of the season. But yeah, that's my top banana pick, Mr. Berry.
Very good. I didn't know if you wanted to do the little B one or not, so I don't have him.
What?
What? I got him now. He's right here. Calm down, dude. Calm down.
I'm about to crash out.
So I'm gonna go first with
Yes.
little B.
What's a little B?
Little B. It's called Little Bitch. Long story. I got this from a streamer that I follow like every night. So
I didn't know Sweet
I
Tails
bought
sold merchandise.
No, this is from Max Gamble. Little B, aka Little Bitch. I'm giving it to Ty Gibbs for taking out SVG.
Damn it, Joe, you stole
Riley
my
Herbst.
pick.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna take back my pick. I resend it. And I will go, you know what? He deserves both. Ty Dillon for getting that speeding penalty and fucking his whole race up. All right, go ahead.
Baumer.
I don't have one yet. Y'all didn't prepare me for these segments.
Cason.
Well, Mine is gonna be Ty Gibbs for being ass, taking out 11 cars, hitting the wall after he blows a tire. Not moving up in the I guess he did move ahead of Cole Custer.
That's not saying a
Big
lot.
props there, Ty Gibbs. You moved ahead of a guy who probably is a mid-tier Xfinity driver. Good job. Good job, Ty Gibbs. You're now the third worst driver in the Cup Series in points. And you have about 8 more races to win a race. Otherwise, you're doomed to a career of Alex Bowman as your peak.
For my little B award, I'm gonna give it to I guess NASCAR for not getting rid of the white checkered rule in ARCA. We already went on this, so I'm not going to go more into it, but cost Butterbean McQueen cost Butterbean a win. And I think the rule's kind of outdated, and with the state of ARCA, that should be done away with immediately.
I'm gonna go with I believe it's Mr. Thad Moffitt, because who the fuck turned somebody at a restart into the middle of the fucking pit wall when you're like an 8th place car to begin with?
Sad. Well, does anyone else have any final thoughts or opinions or anything else to get on my last nerves tonight?
You should have sent in Chris.
I should have. I should have.
This is another good run, good race for Christopher Bell. And I look forward to the repeat again on Sunday.
Joe just doesn't want me on the podcast.
Chris, at some point, every single one of us is going to be miserable on this podcast. You're just getting it out of the way early.
Real early.
And
Not
often.
not me with my NASCAR hat for my cheering for NASCAR.
I'm
likes everybody.
for the officials.
He thinks everybody does a good job and tries hard, except for Ty Gibbs.
If
Wait, hold on. Who's leading our Nepo baby standings?
yeah, look that up. There's a lot of segments here, Baumer.
Obviously.
We usually get through the race a lot quicker.
Are
There's
we
no notes.
Are we officially counting Ryan Blaney as a Nepo baby?
Yes, because his uncle played for the
Yes.
Lakers.
Or what about Reddick? Do we?
I don't think Reddick really was. Same with Twink Bell.
No, because they're under 5'9", so they don't count as Nepo babies.
Maybe William Liberty Byron
That's a
No,
nice photo, Baumer.
Jr.
So Ryan Blaney's leading in our Nepo baby standings. Baumer's leading in the people to get wrecked next week in FCL.
No, you promised him if he showed up, he wouldn't get wrecked.
That was exactly what got promised.
Okay, well, I guess I can't wreck Baumer at Bristol, even though actually, Baumer, this is a bad week for me to make that promise because I have a tendency to just kind of shove people at Bristol, not intentionally. Just I usually run too tight of a slider and just shift up the track. But I'll try my best to stay away from you.
Wait till my wheel at Bristol.
And rounding out and last of our Nepo baby standings, I'm ignoring Cody Ware on this because Cody Ware would be Mr. Cole Custer himself. So that is your Nepo baby update. And if we have remembered and don't have any more segments left, I think that's all for the Phantastic Phoenix race. And I want everyone to rate this podcast on Spotify and leave us a like. Yeah.
I could understand what you were saying. So you didn't do a good enough.
Shit, did Dirty Guy just call in? What are we listening to right now?
Sorry, that's Bob Dylan. He called in.
All right, everybody. Well, no final thoughts? Everyone good?
I'm
On to
fine with
Vegas.
the Fantastic Phoenix.
Phantastic Phoenix. Cason?
No thoughts.
All right, head empty. All right, we'll be back Wednesday if I can remember to upload the podcast like I haven't done for the last 2 weeks. It's been a Thursday drop, but I will try harder this time. But all right, everyone, have a good night. Thank you.